Hello friends, today's video is going to be an introduction to the world of Hobonichi, things that you may not like about it, things that may shock you, surprise you, and tips on how to overcome those difficult aspects of the paper, and other things that you may not have known about this very famous Tomoe River paper. The number one thing is dry time. I use Pentel Energel inks. That is my main pen. The pen body is a Sarasa, but the ink is Pentel Energel 0.5. And I also used to use a lot of highlighting over my pens because the Pentel Energel and various gel pens can handle highlighting over the paper very well. That is not the case for Tomoe River paper, which is the name of the paper that the Hobonichi planner uses. What I mean by that is, it really doesn't act like the ink that you're used to on any other paper. It takes forever to dry. I haven't tested the times, but it takes several seconds. And even if you let it dry for a really long time, you would be lucky if you don't smudge it by highlighting it over. Even if you use mod liners or any other marker that's really famous for not messing up the gel ink underneath. The second thing that shook me to the core was how difficult it was to place washi. So I've been used to very thick paper where I could just slap down washi and stickers very easily. That is not the case for Tomoe River paper. It's a lot harder to place any stickers or washi down because the paper is so thin, and so it wrinkles very easily. If you lay it straight down taut and just stick it down, it will not act like regular paper. You need to be much more delicate with it. The third thing that also I did not like in the beginning was how difficult it is to reposition stickers. On other thicker paper, it's a lot easier to lift stickers up without messing up the paper underneath. That is not the case for Tomoe River paper. You will most likely rip it because the paper is so thin and delicate. Another thing that really put me off in the beginning was how much you could see through the other page. I think this is officially called shadowing. I'm not sure. But anyways, so you can see things that are on the other side of the page. You can see here. Another thing I didn't like when I first started was because the paper is so thin, if you use a lot of stickers like I do, when you write on the other side of a sticker, it feels very bumpy. If you're coming from a paper that was around 160 GSM, that's much thicker and stronger, you will not have experienced that. And that is not the case for Tomoe River paper. And last but not least, the markers and brush pens that I have been using showed up a lot lighter on Tomoe River paper compared to other paper. That is because it's less absorbent. I will go into detail of that later, but almost any color or brush pen or marker or highlighter that you use on Tomoe River paper is going to show up much softer. So if you like vibrant colors, you're going to have to layer a lot more. Anyways, I think that covers the main things that I was really surprised by, and now I'll move on to the tips. In terms of dry time, there really isn't much you can do about it. However, you can use a ballpoint pen. I don't have any to show you on hand, but out of all the research that I've done online, I found that Uni Jetstream, which I'll be sure to link below, has been a very consistent, solid ballpoint pen that feels smooth yet doesn't smudge as much. Another tip, if you don't want things to transfer when you're flipping the page, is to use a pencil board or just any sheet of paper, place it there when you flip the page and you use the next page if you don't have time to wait for it to dry. Another tip is blotting. You can blot the page after you're done writing. It will help speed up the process. Honestly, the last tip is just get used to it. That's the route that I took. I've just gotten used to it because I love the other aspects of the paper that it does for the inks that I will explain towards the end of the video. I just wait, and I think I've just gotten into a flow and rhythm where I work with the Tomoe River paper, if that makes any sense. And now for the issue of placing down larger strips of washi or really big stickers like this without wrinkling the page. The best technique that I found, and I hope this focuses, place one side down, find the edge on the other side and lightly, gently match the edge. Once you've got like half of the page, gently work with the paper and press it down like so. This has been the most consistent for me and not wrinkling the paper and being able to get the washi down flat. Moving on, repositioning stickers. So I don't have any other tips for this aside from using a product called Undo. I'll link that below as well. I've never personally used it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. Apparently it helps you lift up stickers without ripping the other side. So hopefully that works. Another tip that I have is just go with the flow. Just go with the flow of what you've placed down. And if you really hate it so much, sometimes I'll actually stick 2 pages together and just skip it. And the paper is thin enough where even if you stick 2 pages together, you cannot tell later. You can't tell. The next issue, non-vibrant colors. So for me, I actually like that they're non-vibrant, but if you really want to get that vibrancy, layering is key on Tomoe River paper. This paper can handle so much ink, it's really, really hard to seep through the paper. I would be shocked if you can't get like a ton of swipes on this thing. No bleed through. Let it dry. It might take a little more time, but if you let this dry, you can go over it again and again and again. So yes, it might take a little more time, but you can get that vibrancy, and I can promise you it's gonna look more beautiful and much more watercolor-like than any other paper you've worked on. Now for the problem of shadowing. Honestly, long story short, there's nothing really you can do to fix this problem. I've come to love it because I just think it gives it character when I'm writing and all the pages are filled up. Then how do you deal with all the little bumpiness of the stickers on the paper? A pencil board. Why am I showing a journaling card? Because I can't find my pencil board. But I have used journaling cards before. Just put it right underneath and right on top. You won't be able to stop the stickers from the other page still being bumpy, but you can prevent it from having double layer bumps, if that makes sense. So at least it'll stop the bumps from this page. And I'm gonna link the Hobonichi pencil board below. They have a really, really lovely quality pencil board. Make sure to get one that is a really nice one, because some pencil boards, depending on their slickness, can really affect the writing experience of when you're writing on top of it. How I deal with not being able to highlight over gel pens. I put the marker down first and then I write over it. So you probably have seen this in my plan with me's. That is the reason why, because it will most likely smudge my ink. So I always put down the marker first, then the writing. There isn't really any great way to write first and then highlight over it without smudging. I have, though, seen videos where it is possible with Uni Jetstream as long as you let it dry. So again, if this is a really make it or break it factor for you, I highly recommend checking out ballpoint pens like the Uni Jetstream. So you basically hate Hobonichi? No. I absolutely love this planner and Tomoe River paper. Why? The first and foremost reason as to why I have come to love this paper is how beautifully it takes inks. Do you see the shading on that? What I mean by shading is lighter and darker colors in the ink. See how you can see the darker and lighter shades in the ink? Your ink is gonna live its best life on this paper. There is no other, well, okay, there might be some other papers out there that allow inks to live their best lives, but my gosh, this is gonna be at the top of the list. You can use any fountain pen of any nib size. It will not feather, it will not bleed, and it will show off the ink the most beautifully that it could be shown off, ever. Another reason, how beautiful watercolor brush pens look on this paper, and the blendability. Because this paper is not as absorbent as other papers, you can mix 2, 3, 4 colors, even use a clear mixer color, like so, on the paper, and they will actually blend and look really, really pretty. I'll show you. See how beautiful that looks? It's just, the inks look so beautiful. Yes, it's lighter, but it gives it that soft, washed color look that you can't get with any other paper. Another reason why I love this planner, Tomoe River paper, because it's so thin. Do you hear that? You'll never get this with any other I mean, you can, but not with a paper that can handle as ink as well. The entire experience that you'll get while using this planner is on a whole nother level. A random reason why I like softer cream paper now compared to bright white, it hurts your eyes less. Did you know that they made the Hobonichi Weeks yellower because it's meant to be carried around outside and it reduces the glare on your eyes? And lastly, I love the layouts of all of the planners. The layout and the functionality of the Techo with the monthly and the timed side with the to-do list and the blank space, a separate weekly supplement. The planner system as a whole just works so beautifully, and it's set up in a way where you can make it your own if you don't want to use the layout that they have for you, because the grids and the numbers are unobtrusive, light, and small enough where you could easily just ignore it or cover it up with some whitewashy or anything that you'd like, and you can pretty much use it however you want. I love the freedom, I love the flexibility and the functionality of these planners. That is why I've come to love this planner, and most of all, just fall in love with this paper. And if you've been following my Instagram stories, I know it's such a bummer because the original Tomoe River paper in the Hobonichi planner has been discontinued. Fret not, all of the 2022 planners from Hobonichi all use the original paper, but I really am heartbroken that this original paper is being discontinued, has been discontinued, which is why I stocked up on plain grid notebooks. All of the Hobonichi notebooks, as of right now that I'm aware of, use the original paper. I hope this video didn't scare anyone else off from Hobonichi, but if it did, then I'm glad, because that means you found something out that you didn't know before. And if you have any questions, please leave them below and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thanks, friends. Bye.